Total Pro Sports presents the 10 goofiest names in sports. Some professional athletes have awesome names. I mean, Rob Gronkowski is nicknamed Gronk. Brock Lesnar is as tough as a rock. Joe Thornton is nicknamed Jumbo Joe. Having a cool name gives you a slick nickname and identity. But sadly for some athletes, they tend to be best remembered for having, well, odd names. We don't always like to make fun of people who had weird names, but come on. Professional wrestlers change their names. Dean Ambrose sounds more cool than John Good. Ditto for Hulk Hogan instead of Terry Bollea, and Lex Luger instead of Lawrence Fole. Maybe some pro athletes should follow what most wrestlers do and go by a different name, not the one they were born with. Here are the 10 goofiest athlete names in sports. Number 10, Mark Clark. Clark was a decent MLB pitcher for 5 teams, with his career lasting from 1991 to 2000. He registered 74 wins, a respectable 4.61 ERA, and 728 strikeouts. However, we aren't always big on names that rhyme cheesily like this one. Mark Clark sounds more like a mailman in a children's television show on Fox or PBS. His middle name is Willard. Thank goodness it's not Mark Park Clark. It just sounds silly. It doesn't help that his first and last name are also one syllable, making this name a bit more goofy. Number 9, Milton Bradley. The former MLB outfielder had a solid baseball career. He did bat .271 and was an all-star in 2008, playing 12 seasons in the majors. But his career is best remembered as the man who had a temper. From his constant ejections to throwing buckets of baseballs on the field, people seem to laugh or show more disgust towards him than respect. That being said, his name should simply not be associated with the Milton Bradley Company, the juggernaut that made all of our favorite childhood board games. It's just odd. What if there was an athlete named Ronald McDonald or Louis Vuitton? It just doesn't make sense. Number 8, Coco Crisp. This nickname isn't even an insult to his parents because Coco is not even his birth name. Rather, it's Covelli Lois Crisp. It's been reported that the nickname came from his siblings who said he looked like a character on a Cocoa Krispies box. So why did that even have to stay? He even went as far as to changing his name in 2013. The name is just silly. Plus, we're not sure about you guys, but it reminds me of the delicious Coffee Crisp chocolate bar, something we crave 24/7. But that's besides the point. Hey, Covelli, change your name. Number 7, Dick Trickle. We'll try to be mature about this. His birth name was Richard, and to be fair, the man was born in 1941. Back then, people weren't immature, and Dick was a common name for men. And it's just a coincidence that Trickle could make it sound odd. Trickle was a star race car driver in plenty of promotions. He won the 1989 NASCAR Winston Cup Series Rookie of the Year award and finished in the top 10 36 times. In all honesty, let's hope people will remember his legacy in racing and not the name that many will make fun of. Number 6, Your Highness Morgan. Can you imagine if this guy became king somewhere? Hello, Your Highness Morgan, sir. And then someone referring to him as Your Highness, sir. Oh gosh, give us a break. A linebacker star at Florida Atlantic, it's been reported that his brother's name is Handsome, and he has cousins named Gorgeous and Prince. So yeah, you can invite Your Highness Handsome, Gorgeous, and Prince over to your house for dinner anytime. Can we assume Morgan wasn't drafted into the NFL because no owner, GM, or coach would want to have to talk down a rookie by calling him Your Highness? Number 5, Harry Dick. To be fair, Mr. Dick, he was born in 1920. During those times, Dick, as we said before, was not a name people made fun of. And Harry Dick was likely not a term people used to be immature. But sadly, times have changed over the years, and many people will not let this one go. Dick played 12 games in the NHL with the Chicago Blackhawks. Let's keep it mature, folks. Maybe John Smith will be a nickname kids make fun of 30 years from now. Number 4, Ron Tugnut. His NHL career as a goalie was one of the most underrated in recent memory, but of course people are going to laugh at the last name. We're keeping it mature here and not referring to why the name is funny or goofy. Tugnut played nearly 20 years in the NHL and posted 186 wins and 26 shutouts. For long stretches of his career, he was a backup goalie and became the head coach of the Kemptville 73s of the CCHL after retiring. Number 3, SHAMMGOD. Okay, first off, having your last name end the exact same way your first name doesn't work. Don't believe us? Let's experiment. Dave Lair Dave. Chris John Chris. Eric Derek. You see, but of course no one should really ever go by God. Yes, it may be offensive to religious people, but this just isn't very acceptable in some ways. It's not like SHAMMGOD was a star in the NBA either. The Washington Wizards drafted him in 1997, but his NBA career was short-lived, much like our patience for this name. Number 2. Rusty KUNTZ. KUNTZ has actually had a more storied MLB career than most. As a player and coach, he helped the Detroit Tigers win the World Series in 1985 and was part of a staff that led the Kansas City Royals to the 2015 World Series. That being said, his last name sounds incredibly similar to the one word no man should ever use against a woman, so don't even think about it. It's one of the most socially unacceptable words to use, and KUNTZ has to live with it. And number 1, Richie Incognito. Aside from literally being one of the biggest bullies in the NFL, this isn't a name you really want to have. The NFL guard is well known to many, but imagine trying to tell government officials and agencies who you've never heard of that this is your name. Of course, most people don't want to have to live the life of having an incognito, which means, of course, that you have a false identity. Then again, does Incognito want to keep living with this name now that people know he was a jerk to his teammates? What goofy athlete name do you actually like? Tell us in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, please click like. If you didn't subscribe, now's a good time to do so. We upload 7 videos a week. As always, we thank you so much for watching.